Welcome back, everybody. So today I want to go ahead in this video I want to cover spinal protection, the ABCs of movement. Really quick, we have to define what across the board will be the same for everybody. Now I understand everybody's different heights, different weights, different ages, different sex. So what we have to understand is that we are all structurally, anatomically, physiologically made up of the same elements and structures, meaning bones, organs, tissues. So let's go ahead and start there to give us an idea of how we can start creating this picture in our minds of what movement is supposed to look like. Most of the time, people have this idea or image in their head of what movement is supposed to be, and either they consider movement to be intense, aggressive, heavy weighted exercises, or they look at movement to be passive controlled, yoga-like movements. Because of this, we have to try to give ourselves the time to understand what it is that we ourselves are looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out a simple image that you guys can go ahead and take home with you to always help you remember where our ABCs are located and what their roles are. So, really quick, we're going to draw an individual's head, then we're going to draw their head and spine curvature, right? And we have these vertebrae, we have 33, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, there it is. All right? Now, I'm not going to go ahead and count right now, but I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that there is 3 parts to the spine, all right? So you have your cervical, you have your thoracic, and then you have your lumbar. Now, these, let's call it the top, cervical. The cervical meaning the cervical, top of the half, thoracic, right here, so cervical, thoracic, and lumbar, all right? These 3 parts of the body can be controlled by different joints, muscles, and bones. Alright? So what we have to first do is understand why they're important. Would you guys agree that from the neck stems down the brain stem? Meaning, from the brain, we have this brain here. There is going to be a stem that comes down and it connects all the way down, all the way through, down this way. Now, myself, I was paralyzed and I lost the ability down here at the L5, S1 level, to lose my disc cartilage. So because of that, I suffered a lot of pain and discomfort down here. Taught me a lot about myself, and I want to go ahead and teach you in a few minutes. Now, if this makes sense, I want to break down the ABCs, meaning the 1, 2, 3s of your spinal movements. Now, in order to take control of your spine, you must understand what exactly is it that manipulates the way that that particular part of the spine is positioned. So, first thing, scapulas. You have to manipulate your scapulas in 5 different ways. All right? So we have 5 positions. We have what's called neutral. We have what's called protracted, where your shoulders round forward, right, to make a basketball hoop. Retracted, when you bring them back. To retract is to bring back. Or when you shrug, you're actually doing what's called elevation. I don't know. I don't know. My shoulders go up. My scapulars are pushing them up. You notice that my rib cage stays in the same place. What about when you bring your shoulders down to the rib cage? That's called depression. When you're feeling down, you bring them down. That's called depression. So remember, the scapula has 5 positions, and we're going to talk about these very, very often. So I hope you wrote them down, because as we move forward into our second part, remember this is what we call our A right here. We're going to call this our A. We're going to call this our B. And we're going to call this our C. And the A of the spinal ABCs is always going to be the scapula. So, if you're going to participate in a movement, before you do anything, think about this. where are my scapulas supposed to be? Retracted, protracted, elevated, depressed, or at neutral. Then we move on to the second layer, which is our breathing girdle. Your breathing girdle is also what you guys call the internal core muscles. I'm not talking about the internal core muscles right now though, because the way that you breathe in every exercise should be your secondary priority. First is, am I supported in a strong position with my shoulders so that I don't get hurt, you know? Second, am I breathing correctly into the right areas so that way there is an engagement to this mid half of the body. So from here to here, there has to be a scapular engagement. From here down, there has to be a breathing engagement. Now what this means is breathe to the lungs, not your belly. This is key, guys. I see it across the board every day. People will come in breathing into their belly, not into their lungs, not into their chest. You don't want to breathe into your upper chest. This is like one of those panic receptors. And when we breathe here, it means that we are under stress. This is why somebody has to tell you, hey, take a deep breath, man. Breathe into your calming receptors. Next, we have what's called the C of the ABCs. We have our scapula, we have our breathing girdle, and then lastly, we have your tailbone awareness. Your tailbone is a key part of being in a good position. Your tailbone can either go ahead and be rotated inwards, or it can be taken outwards. Now what this means is you can take your tailbone out, or you can stand and tuck. This is key when you're placed in different positions or shapes based upon your global positioning. This will protect your lower back from spinal compression in this region right here. We want to avoid any discomfort in that region. Therefore, it is our goal to let ourselves always position ourselves in a place where our spine can be as upright as possible to avoid compression, joint pain, disc pain. So remember, guys, when it comes down to spinal protection, give yourselves a chance to work on the manipulation of these three elements. Your scapular positioning, your breathing girdle, meaning breathing into the lungs, not your belly, and lastly, focus on your tailbone positioning. If you're gonna sit down, make sure you take your tailbone out first and then you use your legs to lower yourself. If you're gonna stand somewhere, squeeze your glutes, tuck your tailbone in, and stand tall. You'll notice that by turning your tailbone in, you'll be able to lengthen your spine better because you're bringing your chest up. Guys, spinal protection is easy. This is just the initial ABCs of movement. I hope you had a good time with this. I hope you learned some stuff. Take some notes. We're going on to tensegrity as well as global positioning. So we'll see you in the next video.